What's happening, guys? Sam Adams here, and welcome to another episode of The Drop. And this week is a very strange week for game releases, because this is the first time since I have been doing The Drop, which began, I believe, in 2014, that I am not talking about a single game that's coming out on the PlayStation 4 or the Xbox One. Instead, I'm going to be talking about a ton of games that are coming to the Nintendo Switch, as well as one VR game that's coming technically to the PlayStation 4, if you really want to break it down. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it. Starting everything off this week, we have Xenoblade Chronicles 2 coming to the Nintendo Switch, which is a very hotly anticipated title. In fact, a lot of people are saying that this game is going to end off the year for the Switch in the same way that it began with Breath of the Wild, where it just has hundreds of hours of gameplay. So much density here in this game. But as the giant beast march towards death, the last hope is a scavenger named Rex and Pyra, a living weapon known as a blade. Can you find the fabled paradise she calls home? Command a group of blades and lead them to countless strategic victories before the world ends. Each Titan hosts its own distinct cultures, wildlife, and diverse regions to explore. Search the vast open areas and labyrinthine corridors for treasure, secret paths, and creatures to battle and index. During these escapades, you'll get to know a large cast of eclectic characters, including the weaponized life forms known as blades. Gather these allies, bond with them to increase their power, and utilize their special arts to devastate enemies. But to save the world of our rest, you must first demystify its cloudy past. So before we get into anything else, this is not a game that I will ever play, so take my opinion with it with a grain of salt. I'm not into the Xeno series. I'm not really into Xenoblade Chronicles. Didn't like the, it's not my thing. It is an action RPG with heavy Japanese elements. In fact, there is a day one DLC that takes out all of the English dubs, replaces it with Japanese, and then throws on English subtitles. It is free DLC. That's fantastic for people who want to experience that kind of thing. The fact that it exists kind of solidifies in my mind that I more than likely won't be playing it. I understand that a ton of people love Xenoblade Chronicles, a ton of people are excited about Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and for them, congratulations, the game is finally coming out this week, and it is also a fantastic place to jump in if this does sound like something that you would be interested in, because Xenoblade Chronicles 2 does not take anything from the story of the first Xenoblade Chronicles. It is completely and totally new cast of characters, new set of situations. It is a fresh start, so if you wanted to jump into it, it is coming to the Nintendo Switch this week. Next up, we have Resident Evil Revelations Collection coming to the Nintendo Switch that includes two games, which are Revelations and Revelations 2, as the name would suggest. For Revelations, the critically acclaimed survival horror title takes players back to the events that took place between Resident Evil 4 and Resident Evil 5, revealing the truth about the T-Abyss virus. Resident Evil Revelations features series favorites Jill Valentine and Chris Redfield, plus their respective BSAA partners, Parker Luciani and Jessica Sherrill-Watt. I believe I said that correctly. The action begins on board a supposedly abandoned cruise ship, the Queen Zenobia, where horrors lurk around every corner, before players head for the mainland and the devastated city of Terra Grigia. Nailed it. With limited ammo and weapons available, the race is on to survive the horror of Resident Evil Revelations. Resident Evil Revelations 2 comes to Nintendo Switch and tells the tales of Resident Evil past and present as they meet on an abandoned island facility. The beginning of the Resident Evil Revelations 2 tale sees fan favorite Claire Redfield make a dramatic return. Survivor of the Raccoon City incident depicted in previous Resident Evil games, Claire now works for the anti-bioterrorism organization TerraSave. Moira Burton is attending her welcome party for TerraSave when unknown armed forces storm the office. Claire and Moira are Burton are knocked unconscious and waken later to find themselves in a dark and abandoned detention facility. Working together, they must find out who took them and to what sinister end. Will Claire and this other chick with a weird name make it out alive and discover what's led them to being taken to this remote island? A story of twists and turns will have players guessing the next step at every turn. Probably not, because the game's been out for like 10 years now. Probably not 10, a little bit less. It's been out for a while. Headed for the remote prison island in search of his missing daughter, Barry Burton meets a new character, Natalia Corda, a little girl who has a strange power that allows her to sense enemies and hidden items. Using this skill alongside Barry's proven combat abilities, players will need to alternate between the two to survive the mysterious island and find Moira. With terrifying enemies waiting around every dark corner, Barry will need to use his ammo and weapon supply wisely in classic survival horror style. As far as Revelations goes, they're fine games. I mean, I'm not really a huge fan of Resident Evil, so I never really was as pumped about them coming to the Xbox One or the PlayStation 4, but they are pretty solid games of what I can gather. So I'm glad they're coming to the Nintendo Switch. I think that will definitely open up a lot of new experiences in the Resident Evil universe on the Nintendo Switch, and so with that, you can't really complain. Next up, we have Doom VFR coming to the PC through the Oculus Rift and HTC Vive, and also to the PlayStation 4 via PSVR. Doom VFR brings the fast-paced, brutal gameplay fans of the series love to virtual reality. Immerse yourself in the UAC facility on Mars and the depths of hell as your skills are put to the test through intense combat and challenging puzzle solving. Play as a cybernetic survivor who is activated by the UAC to fight the demon invasion, maintain order, and prevent catastrophic failure at the Mars facility. Lay waste to an entire army of demonic foes as you explore and interact with the outlandish world of Doom from an entirely new perspective. Set shortly after the demonic invasion on UAC's Martian research facility, you are the last known human survivor until your death. Under a top-secret UAC operational contingency protocol, your consciousness is transferred to an artificial brain matrix. Your designated purpose: restore operational stability and use any means necessary to stop the onslaught of demons. With Doom coming to VR, I can't help but be excited about this. I mean, I'm not a guy that owns a, VR headset. I'm not an early adopter of virtual reality, but I love the idea of being set in that world where it's a combination of hell and Mars, and it's just a fantastic place to be immersed in only the way that VR can really immerse someone. Now, with that being said, the game is out on the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One if you want to play it there. It came to the Nintendo Switch a couple of weeks back, and again, it is on PC, but for those that are really enthusiastic and early adopters of VR, this is pretty much a must-have experience in my opinion. Of the gameplay I've seen, it's solid. Is it going to be the way that you play Doom from here on out? More than likely not, but from time to time, whenever you're really feeling like diving back into the VR, I think that Doom is going to be pretty much your go-to game, if I had to guess. I know that it would be if I had one. To wrap it all up, we have Siberia 2 coming to the Nintendo Switch. After crossing Europe from west to east, Kate Walker finally found Hans Vorarlberg and got him to sign the papers approving the sale of his factory. An improbable pair, Kate Walker and the eccentric old Hans Vorarlberg, set forth in search of a forgotten world, home to the last legendary mammoths of Siberia. Hans and Kate continue the impossible undertaking that Hans had begun several years before, and their courage and perseverance take them through a range of hostile environments. Yet what lies ahead goes far beyond the limits of imagination. This game came out in 2004. It is now coming to the Nintendo Switch. Enjoy! So there you guys have it. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of The Drop. If you did, drop me a like down below, and in the comments section, let me know what you think about the Nintendo Switch and how it has done throughout the course of 2017, because I personally think that the system has surpassed my expectations. I did not think that it would be this impressive as far as sales and also the repertoire of games goes. Really impressive stuff here from Nintendo, but also if you happen to be new to the channel, I do upload new stuff throughout the week, and I'm streaming live on twitch.tv/TheSamuelAdams if you want to check that out over there. But as for right now, I want to thank each and every one of you guys for watching this particular video. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.